Harry Tubmeister. So good to have you here today.
Good to be with you, LaFonda.
So, we have both heard about the atrocities that were committed during the time the boys were on the island. I assume you've given great thought to the matter of the punishment for the boys involved.
Yes, it's quite a complex matter, LaFonda. Back at the office, we've had quite a philosophical debate. It is quite a complex matter. On one hand, we have a group of young boys that have committed a horrible act. But LaFonda, they are just that, a group of young boys incapable of knowing the difference between right and wrong when the parents that control their society disappear.
That's interesting. It's a very good point you brought up. But you know, a lot of savage acts went digging down on that island. One in particular would be Jack's tribe killing Simon. What are the consequences for that?
The boys committed a horrible act, but I wouldn't call it murder. They were caught up in the moment and under extreme pressure and fear. You must remember that they were also very young when this occurred. Pressing charges would be a possibility, but the state doesn't believe they should be held accountable for the reasons given.
The boy Eugene was murdered by Roger while the boys were stranded on the island. The murder was premeditated and Roger acted alone. Surely Roger will pay for his consequences.
Eugene's murder by Roger, like you said, LaFonda, was premeditated. But you must remember that Roger was only 10 when this occurred, and most likely imitating behavior around him, especially Jack's behavior, for it was definitely the worst among the boys.
That's another good point. Well, thank you. I'm so glad to know all this. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you for having me, LaFonda.
You're welcome. Now our next guest is Miss Sharpie, the boys' teacher. Welcome! Yeah, Miss Sharpie! Yeah, Miss Sharpie! Okay, so Miss Sharpie, I'm so glad that you could make it here today.
Thank you, LaFonda. I'm so glad to be here also.
So tell me, Miss Sharpie, what did the boys learn in school? Did they learn anything that helped them on the island to survive?
Well, not really, LaFonda. I just taught them the original curriculum. Arithmetic, English, history, and science. The survival skills that they had on the island, I think they learned themselves, which is pretty impressive.
No doubt about that. So how did the boys act in school before they got deserted on the island?
Well, the boys were very prim and very smart. They, well, let's see here. Each boy was very into their schoolwork and never got in trouble. Since they were brought up with very orderly parents, their actions were civilized. At school, the boys were determined to get good grades and never had to go to the principals for punishment.
Wow. It's a little bit different now, isn't it?
Precisely.
So crazy how people change so quickly.
Right.
Alright, so when the boys came back, what changes did you see?
Well, since Ralph is homeschooled now and Jack dropped out, I didn't see many changes since those boys were the ones who would change the most. But anyway, Ralph and the boys and the other boys just are very quiet and don't answer questions like they used to. And they don't raise their hand as much. The boys aren't using their brains and aren't getting involved.
Yes, I see. And why do you think the boys act that way now?
Well, I think they are still shocked about everything that happened on the island, like the murders. Not very, don't really know all the details about that one, but, so I just think that all the stuff that happened on the island just is gonna stick in their minds forever.
Well, that's how traumas are, but thank you so much, Miss Stephanie. I'm so glad you made
Sharpie.
it. Oh.
Sharpay.
Miss Sharpay. I'm so glad you made it here today.
Thank you, LaFonda. I'm glad to have been on the show.